Hello and welcome to my channel, Share It with Merit. In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of living a more authentic life, what authenticity is, and how to achieve that. I'm going to start with my mission statement, which is that I want to live in a world where everyone has the opportunity and the ability to share their gifts, talents, and skills with the world. And I see my life as being able to use it to be a catalyst for that, using my gifts, talents, and skills to help other people do the same. And there's two important qualities there, the ability and the opportunity, right? It's one thing to know what your gifts, talents, and skills are. It's another thing to be able to share them with the world and have the opportunity to do it. So what is authenticity? Well, authenticity in its simplest form just means the truth, right? To be true, and to be true to oneself is the context in which I'm talking about it. And, step one is to know your truth, right? And that's not always easy. We show up in this world, the place we show up, in the body we show up, in the temperament we show up, in the family we show up, in the culture we show up, in the society that we show up in. And our lives are really spent bobbing and weaving and trying to understand ourselves and our place in the world. And it can get very convoluted very early in terms of the world sort of telling you who you are and how to do it. And so step one is really trying to figure out who you really are and what you really want. Without knowing that, it's pretty hard to live your truth, right? Excuse me. And then secondarily, it's then how do you, right? Maybe I have the ability to now, and I know my truth, but how do I actually come forward and share myself with the world? And being authentic doesn't mean having no filter, right? It doesn't mean saying all the things you want to say at any given time. Well, unless it's to yourself, right? And so I talk a lot about different dances in the world, and the dance in relationship to authenticity is one of being the dance between being an individual and then being part of the group, being part of society, right? And so you can be authentic with yourself and in your quiet moments and in the depths of your mind and your soul, and you're the only one that's ever going to know that, right? And you can be authentic with others. You can be authentic as part of the group, right? Using that filter, deciding, how you want to show up with others, right? How much of that deep inner self is appropriate to share, is safe to share, and you want to share, right? You don't need to or want to share, like I said, every thought that comes into your head. That's not authenticity. Okay. However, it can be hard to certainly do the public piece, right? And I often say that, the only person that you truly can be authentic with completely is yourself. And think of how often we lie to ourselves, right? So that's not even a given, right? So if you're starting out on this journey, it really begins with an exploration of who you've been, who you are now, and who you want to be in the future, right? And start defining that for yourself. Another mission statement of mine, if you will, is that I want to help people define and design the life that they want and deserve to live, right? And that's part of coming into your authenticity. And you've got to take the time to both define first and then start designing that life. And a lot of the work is removing some of the like I said, the narratives and the things that have been placed upon you in terms of what maybe the world has told you are, and you're not, but you just did it, right? I remember, so I like to share personal stories from time to time. I was in, I want to say 7th or 8th grade, And I've never been good at reading and writing. I've always been, talking and listening, much better at that. But reading and writing is always been kind of a struggle. And my mom, she said to me, "Oh, Mary, you should take a journalism class. You'd be a great journalist." And it didn't really, I was so young and open, and okay, and so I took journalism. She didn't pressure me or anything. It was more of a suggestion. Um, and it's probably one of the worst classes I ever took. It was awful. It was just give me the forks to put in my eyes. I was terrible at it. I mean, I was terrible at writing. I was terrible at, I was so shy, and I had to go out and, interview people in the football team and all this stuff and take the pulse. There's this whole social component that I had zero interest or ability in at the time. I've gotten a little better at that part, but I'm still not a great writer. Anyway, that's just a simple example of, someone in a power position, my mother, making a suggestion. It wasn't a negative in any way. It was just, she thought I would be good at this. Well, she was wrong, and I could have continued to believe that about myself. And certainly when you're younger, you just don't even necessarily know yourself. Like I didn't know. And part of growing up is trying different things. So there's certainly nothing wrong with that. And there's a process of elimination, I think, as we're growing up too, to just try and understand ourselves a little better and figure out what we're drawn to. I know a lot of adults don't know who they are or what they're interested in, and it certainly has taken me a long time to figure that out. So this isn't something we're just born knowing. I think some people have more of an idea than others. Great, they're ahead of the game, way ahead than I was. I think I started this around 35, so I can tell you how many careers I had before this one. So there's no right way or wrong way of doing it. There's just your way. And that's key, right? What is your way? And what do you need to do differently in your life so that you feel that you're living your truth and that you're living authentically, right? And so as you do that sort of individual work, right, planning and designing, then you begin to bring that self forth, right, into the world and share all those gifts, talents, and skills with us, because you make the world a better place for all of us when you're able to do that. And so defining and then also clearing out anything that's getting in your way, right? So there's often obstacles to this work too, is, you may get to where you have a pretty good sense of who you are and what you want, moving forward, but there may be obstacles in the way. There may still be people in your life that aren't so keen on you making these changes, or your own inner dialogue going, "Ooh, that's too scary or too risky." I know when I did decide to go into this field, again, I was about 35. I went to therapy for career advice because I was doing accounting and it was killing my soul because I just didn't care if anybody got their taxes done. And the biggest fear for me was the cost. I can't take that financial risk, and I worked through that, and here I am. So point being that there are, it's not like you just go, "Oh, here I am. Now I found myself. Let me go forth and be my wonderful self in the world." I mean, if you can, that's absolutely fantastic. But, often it's a process of also clearing the weeds, right? Clearing the brush and making for a nice, smooth trajectory for you and getting out into that social space. Because that's, where the lions and the tigers are, right? So there's going to be people who accept who you are authentically, and there's people who aren't. And that's the struggle in the social piece, right? And that's that dance. And one of the metaphors I like to use is that, as You think about the zebras, the pack of zebras running through the Serengeti, right? Well, the zebra in the middle is the safest zebra, right? That zebra is not going to get eaten, but it has the worst view. It's just looking at another zebra butt, right? There's no real living there, but there's a lot of safety, right? And then slowly that zebra goes out to the edge, and then the zebras on the edge, they're living life. They're out there. They're putting themselves out there. They're getting the views, the fresh air, the excitement, but they're taking all the risks, right? And then, maybe they get nipped or something, and then you come back to center for safety. So you don't stay in one place or the other continually. It's this dance between staying safe and with yourself, and then going forth, living on the edge, taking in the view, interacting with other people, learning how to surround yourself with people who vote your victory and support you in your true self. Right. And then again, coming back and not always just safety, but, coming back to rest and recuperate and all of those kinds of things, by yourself. Okay. I think I will stop there. Little intro into living a more authentic life, living to your truth. And I really hope sharing your gifts, talents, and skills with the world. If you'd like to contact me, you can find me at shareitwithmerit.com, and also download your free recipe for happiness there, which will help you actually identify some of your strengths and interests. There's a worksheet there that and directions on how to work it. All right. Till next time.